want to have a TextChanged event for this first combo box. But if you double click on it, the default event is selected IndexChanged. That won't really help when users can type in text. We'll click the lightning bolt to see events that are possible here. And there's TextChanged. If we double click on it, now we can put LBL sentence.text equals nothing. That's what we want to have happen when users change the text in that first combo box. Whether they do it by clicking on something, which would change the index, but it also changes the text. So we'll use that. And you notice that when we change the animal in that first text box or combo box, it did wipe out the label. We got the same issue for the verb combo box. And we'd like that to be a TextChanged event. So I'll double click on it because we are in the events over there with that lightning bolt. We also want LBL sentence.text to basically get wiped out of text. Now, selected IndexChanged is okay for this drop-down list. There's no way for users to edit the text anyway. The only way to make things change in there is to change the selected index by picking one of the items that's in there. It's uneditable. So now we should be okay. If any of these items are changed in any of these combo boxes, it should make our sentence label get wiped out. Happens with color, happens with verb, and then we've already checked it should happen again with the animal. In all those cases, the text of the label was taken out. I'll switch this back to properties in case we need it. Now we're going to create a method that will eventually create a random sentence. So we'll start with private void, and I'll call it make random sentence. Blank parentheses for right now. Put some braces in. I'll declare a variable here as a noun, so string noun, and I'll make it equal horse. And then I'll have our label LBL sentence display that your animal is whatever noun is. At first, it's going to be a horse. Need to slide up to that button create click event, btn create click event, and I'll comment out the current code for LBL sentence.text, and instead we will call or activate this make random sentence method. So it will jump down there and we should see that your animal is a horse. It is. Your animal is a horse. Let's take this another step. We'll get rid of that string noun equals horse line of code, and instead we'll put string noun in the parentheses as a parameter. It's a parking spot, expecting something to show up and park there. You notice that we see some red down on the bottom of about line 43. Our issue is back up where we called or activated make random sentence. We have to send something to that parking spot. It's going to be an argument. We're going to put horse here. It's a string. Our method is expecting a string. We will send it a string. That's an argument. Like an automobile or an airplane, it will land and park in that parameter parking spot. So horse is the argument heading down to a parking spot that's a parameter in the make random sentence method. Let's check this out. Your animal is a horse because horse is what got sent to that method. Of course, we have the potential for several animals. They're sitting in a combo box, and in fact, they're going into the variable animal. So I'll take the string literal horse, it was literally there in quotation marks, and now we'll go with a variable animal, which will be something that the users selected or typed into that combo box. Oh, your animal is a dog. If we select zebra, your animal is a zebra. If I type in lion, your animal is a lion. Whatever was in the combo box went into the variable animal, and that argument was sent down to the parameter parking spot where the noun is. When you have a parameter in parentheses, it's declared for the whole method. Well, let's put three things in there. I'm going to go string VB for verb. I could put VERB, and it would still be different from the verb that's up higher in the program because these are private methods. But I'll go with noun, VB for verb, and ADJ for adjective. Well, now again we have a binding issue. If you look, there's string is the expectation, but we've only got one string here. We've got to have three string arguments to match the three string parameters. So again, these are like automobiles or airplanes that are going to land or park themselves down in that other method. And the order matters. So animal is the first argument, and it will land in or park in the first parking spot where noun is. Verb is the second argument in the list. It will go to the second parking spot where VB is. And color is the third argument. As things bind, it will go down to that third parking spot where ADJ is. Well, let's get this sentence that we had before that used all three of them. We'll put it in our method. But of course, down here, this method has no clue what color, animal, and verb are, and it doesn't need to know. Those don't need to be class level or global variables either. It knows what noun, VB, and ADJ are. So color is really going to be ADJ now in this method. Animal is really going to be a noun. And verb is going to be VB. Again, when we have those parameters in parentheses, they are declared there and good for the whole method. We'll test it out. The red dog sniffed a birthday present. It worked. But we want to have some random sentences to make this a little more interesting. I will come up here to the top and make a class level random object called ran. That way it's only declared one time and it gets seeded one time. Then I'll come back down here and we're going to need to have a variable that will hold this random number, and we're going to randomly select and display a sentence. That's really explaining what the purpose of this entire method. So we're going to get a random number to help us pick that sentence. I'll call it, it's going to be an integer, so int, and I'll call it sentence number, and it will equal ran.next 4. That means it's going to be 0, 1, 2, or 3. And I'll use that to select a random sentence. And I'm going to use switch. You could also use if, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to use switch, and I'll switch on sentence number. I've got it set up with the braces, and I'm just going to put all four cases in with break statements right now, and then I'll get a little more creative on my sentences once I get this part all set up. So here's all four cases, case 0, case 1, case 2, case 3. They all have breaks inside of them. And then in each case, I'll put a sentence, and there'll be different sentences in the different cases. I'm also going to document this ending brace for the switch so that I can keep track of what braces are ending what things. I've got one ready to go. I'll put this in case 0. And I'll need to come up with 3 more. And so will you. I would encourage you to pause the video, as I did, and make up 3 more random sentences. We're back. I've made up 3 more random sentences, so there are 4 of them all together. And I'll go ahead and test them out. I'll pick for an animal a dog. It will sniff, and this dog's going to be blue. There's one of the random sentences. There's another one. There's a third one. And there's the 4th one. They are all happening. I'll switch it up, and we'll get a cat purchasing yellow. The cat purchased yellow. Ooh, be careful buying yellow snow. Always be careful with yellow snow. Probably because it was a cat. I think a dog would have been smarter and not spent any money on yellow snow. So again, noun, VB, and ADJ, they are the parameters, and they are declared and good for this whole method, but you might not know what they stand for. So it's a good idea to not only explain what this method does, which is to randomly select and display a sentence, but to also list what noun, VB, and ADJ are going to stand for. So noun is going to be a noun for this sentence. VB is going to be a verb for this sentence. And then ADJ is an adjective for this sentence. I'm going with multi-line documentation here. It starts with slash asterisk, and then I'm going to go with the asterisk and the slash. So now I can tell what's going on in this method. I know what noun, VB, and ADJ stand for as parameter parking spots. And look how easy it is to read the BTN create click event now. We have some variables, they get the information out of the combo boxes, and then they send all that information out somewhere else to take care of something. Very easy to read. And that's how you can pass arguments to methods.